This is Lucas Ross Sports, Lucas Ross, your commentator, and it's time to continue our conference standings / conference championship predictions. And yesterday I gave you the ACC predictions. You can go back and watch that video. And now we're going to do the Big Ten Conference. I'll give you the standings here from both divisions with the East and West. And at the end of this video, I will be doing a conference championship prediction as well. And I will go from there. And let's get right into it here. Starting with the Big Ten East, we will start with the Big Ten East, and we'll work our way from 7 through 1. We'll start with Indiana at number 7. Indiana is a team that I'm not really high on this year. I know they had a terrible season last year. Indiana, though, I think they'll be better. I mean, this team just, I think, took a step back, and I think they're going to take a step back this year as well. Schedule is pretty tough as well for Indiana. The production they have coming back is pretty good, but, you know, I think with all these teams in the Big Ten now that have been pretty good, this team, you know, just has a long way to go before it gets back to normal. They take a step back this year like they did last year again. So I think Indiana finishes at 3-9 overall. They at least get one win, though, in that Big Ten, and I think it comes there with Indiana there at number 7. Number 6 is the Rutgers. I have them finishing 4-8 for 1-8 in the conference play. I'm pretty high on the Rutgers. I mean, I'm not really high on them for a winning season. I'm just really high on them, you know, to get, you know, more wins this year. I think this will be a decent Rutgers team. Not really good, though, enough to get to a bowl game or anything like that. This Rutgers team, you know, I think still has a long way to go before they can really compete in the Big Ten Conference as well. The production they have coming back, though, is pretty good, but, you know, the talent is not there for them right now. If they can get that talent, you know, over the year, I think they will have a chance to maybe make a bowl game next year. But right this year, though, they do have a tough schedule. They have to play Boston College out of the non-conference, which is going to be pretty tough as well. They have to play that game on the road. But I got the Rutgers finishing 4-8, 1-8 overall in the conference. Number 5 is Maryland at 8-4, 5-4 in conference play. And Maryland has a veteran offense coming back this year. Taulia Tagovailoa at quarterback, I think he's going to be pretty good as well. Not a top 10 quarterback, but I think he will be consistent this year. That Maryland defense looks to be pretty good as well. The offense just will be explosive. I think it's a top 10 offense this year, a veteran-type team as well. And to think about all these Big Ten teams coming into this season, they have a lot of veteran teams. You know, the Big Ten is going to be wide open this year with all these veteran teams, and I think one of them can potentially win the national championship as well. But I have Maryland going 8-4 overall, 5-4 in conference play. Penn State at number 4 on this list, 7-5 overall, 5-4. And you're thinking, why is Maryland behind Penn State? Well, it's because I have Penn State winning the regular season matchup against Maryland. I think Penn State at home, you know, it's a tough place to play, and that's why I predicted them to win that one. But Penn State, I don't really think they have what it takes to maybe get back into that Big Ten East caliber. They're not there yet with Michigan State or Michigan or anything like that, or not even close to Ohio State. I think Penn State does compete in a lot of their games. They have to play Auburn out of the non-conference. That game is on the road. They do have a pretty tough schedule. It's just going to come down to Sean Clifford and that offense this year. I think, you know, it just comes down to that offense, and Penn State, you know, just has a lot of question marks on the defensive side of the ball, but I think offensively it just comes down to that as well. The Sean Clifford, I think, is going to be about this offense for Penn State. But I got Penn State finishing 7-5, 5-4 in conference play. Michigan State at number 3 here, same place where they were last year. I have them finishing 9-3 overall, 7-2 in conference play. They have to play Washington out of the non-conference as well. Michigan State's schedule is really decent, though. I mean, it's not a bad schedule or anything like that, but, you know, I have them losing to Michigan in the regular season as well. That's why I have them behind Michigan. But Michigan State, I had them finishing at 9-3. This is a good team. This was a good team last year. They're going to be that same team again. Maybe goes to a New Year's Six Bowl and also gets a 10-win season like they did last year. I got Michigan State going 9-3, 7-2 in conference play. Michigan at number 2. I have the Wolverines finishing second this year behind Ohio State. Yes, I know Michigan, you know, deserves to be the top 5 in the rankings this year. I will agree with that. I know they're ranked not even in the top 5 in the 8 people. That's kind of surprising to me, but I think Michigan deserves to be ranked in the top 5 after they went to the college football playoff last year. I have them going 10-2 overall, though, this year, 7-2 overall in the conference. They don't take a step back. I mean, they will take a step back after making the college football playoff last year. But I think they still have a shot to maybe beat Ohio State. I think they still have a shot to maybe do that. And they also could beat these other teams in the Big Ten East this year as well. But I think Michigan takes a step back this year after making the college football playoff. And then Ohio State is at number 1 here. Ohio State going to be a veteran, or not a veteran team, but a dangerous team this year in the Big Ten East. This team is wide open. You know, C.J. Stroud back at quarterback, going to be a really talented quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback, a Heisman contender as well. And you look at his stats last year, I mean, just really amazing stats last year for this team. This Ohio State team has a chance to maybe score a lot of points this year with that offense they have, and it's going to be a really explosive offense. And I think that's why they get back to the Big Ten championship and maybe potentially the college football playoff. So I got Ohio State winning the East this year, 12-0 and 9-0 in conference play. And then we head to the Big Ten West now. I think the Big Ten West is pretty wide open. We start with number 7, though. That's Illinois at number 7. I think they take a step back this year after going 5-7 last year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. I just don't think the team they have right now coming back, I mean, the production they have coming back is not all that explosive. Illinois, I know they're going to take a step back this year, though. 3-9 overall, 0-9 in conference play. I mean, Illinois has a tough schedule as well. They have to play, you know, so many great teams in the non-conference, and also, you know, they have to play all these teams in the Big Ten West, and it's going to be pretty tough to have a great season this year for Illinois. But I got them at number 7. Number 6 is Wisconsin. I think people will be surprised that I have Wisconsin going 5-7 this year, 2-7 in conference play. The schedule's tough. Let's be honest, the schedule is really tough. There's just a lot of question marks at Wisconsin right now. Yes, they're ranked in the top 25, but it's going to come down to that quarterback position. They will be able to run the football, though. That's going to be the strength of their game right there. But the overall, you know, production they have coming back this year, it's just a lot of question marks. And the schedule just really gets a little bit tougher as well for Wisconsin. And that's why I have them at number 6 on this standings here. Number 5 is Northwestern. I think they have a better year than last year. And they have the same identical record as Wisconsin, same identical conference record. That's because I have Northwestern ahead of them, is because I have them winning the regular season matchup. Northwestern, I think they do better this year. Thing is, though, their schedule is kind of tough as well. They have a, you know, good amount of production coming back this year, a decent amount of production. I'm not saying Northwestern and Wisconsin are going to be terrible teams. They're just going to be some decent teams that could still potentially be bowl eligible this year, but I don't think it will be enough. I think Northwestern and Wisconsin both finished with identical records, but I got Northwestern finishing at 5-7 and 2-7 in conference play. Nebraska comes in at number 4. I'm really high on this Nebraska team this year, going 8-4 overall, 5-4 in conference play. And if you look at all these 3 teams here on this list, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Purdue, these are all pretty good teams. These are all 3 teams that can potentially win the Big Ten West. I think this is going to be a wide open division this year like it was last year. I think Nebraska, though, they finished 8-4. Yes, they had all those close games last year. People are pretty hyped up for this team. People are not pretty hyped, though, but I think Nebraska will be better this year, and I got them finishing number 4 on the standings. Minnesota at number 3 here, a veteran Minnesota team that could potentially win the Big Ten West this year. I have them going 8-4 overall, 5-4 in conference play. It was a 3-way tie with all these teams, Purdue, Minnesota, and Nebraska, but I have to put them in some order there. Minnesota, though, is a team that just brings a veteran offense back this year. They're going to be wide open. The defense is going to be wide open as well. And Minnesota does have a difficult schedule, but I think they will potentially do good in their conference, and I think they will be a veteran team this year and also a really good high-scoring team as well, so don't really sleep on that Minnesota team. Purdue comes in at number 2. Purdue has a chance to maybe win the Big Ten West this year. People are pretty much picking Purdue to win the Big Ten West. I just don't think they're quite there yet, though, with the talent level they in the Big Ten West with Iowa. I know Purdue last year, you know, was close to close to winning it, but this year the schedule is kind of tough a little bit. You know, it's tough to predict with all those coin flip type games, and that's why I had them going 8-4 and 5-4 in conference play. But I got Purdue finishing number 2 there in the Big Ten West, and then Iowa comes in at number 1. I have them going back to the Big Ten championship this year. And I predicted them to go to the Big Ten championship last year, and I got that one right. I could be wrong, though. Iowa, though, I think the offense they have coming back is pretty, good. 11-1 overall, 8-1 in conference play. People disagree with that, I think. A lot of fans are going to disagree with me. But I think Iowa still is a pretty good team. Their defense is going to be still good. And also, the only loss to them comes to that Ohio State game. They have to play Ohio State out of the East this year. That's pretty tough. But I got them still winning the West this year. So I have Iowa winning the West. And now we head to the Big Ten championship game at Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium. We got Ohio State versus Iowa. This is going to be a big game here. Potential, high-scoring game. But let's be honest, Ohio State, after seeing what they have coming back and also C.J. Stroud back at quarterback, I really don't see anybody beating Ohio State this year. I really don't see anybody coming even close. This is a rematch. I know Iowa wants revenge in this game. They're going to be fired up for this one, but it won't be enough, though. I think this game is going to be huge. I think it's kind of similar to that Michigan game last year where Iowa got blown out. I think it's kind of similar to that. So I'm going to pick the Buckeyes to win the Big Ten championship this year and win the whole entire Big Ten this season as well. I think Ohio State will get back to the college football playoff as well. They could potentially, I really don't see anybody beating Ohio State this year. I really don't. I don't think it's going to happen. I think with the returning offense they have coming back, it's just going to be too tough to beat Ohio State. And I think Ohio State does win the Big Ten championship here. So that concludes my Big Ten football prediction standings. And also, we will do more conference championship predictions this week and also the standings for each conference. I'll have the Big 12 tomorrow. Thursday, I'll have the Pac-12 and the SEC on Friday. And then we'll have our top 25 video next Sunday as well. And I'll come up with more video options for you guys. And hope you guys are enjoying this channel so far. And stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.